Good evening, YouTube. This is Engineer Pat 5290 coming to you from my place, and tonight I'm going to talk about the different equipment that you use for rail fanning. Lots of people have many different preferences. I understand money is an issue. I understand that you may want a different quality camera. You may want to use some things that you have. So today I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that's used for rail fanning. Sit down here. Okay, what is rail fanning? Rail fanning is a term that is used as a person. Rail fanner is a person who picks a location along the railroad tracks and watches trains. Rail fanning is watching trains. And you use a lot of different equipment when you go out. You use something to take video, take pictures, figure out when the train is getting to you. Different merchandise, which we'll get to in just a few minutes. First off, we'll want to talk about cameras and also photography. On your rail fanning excursions, you may want to take pictures. One of the best tools you can use is your cell phone. See, this is an Apple iPhone 5S. There's also the iPhone 6, 6S, 6 Plus, even the 7 and the 8. And the iPhone SE. The iPhone SE is an improved version of the Apple iPhone 5S. See, this is all it is. You can take photos with it and or video. The quality of this is very good. It's enough to do the job. I've always had good quality with Apple, and they're awesome. I love Apple, period. So if you're going with a cell phone, I would definitely recommend Apple. Apples are easy to use, and also the photo quality is also very good as well. Now, you can use your cell phone for mobile uploads, but if you want to use stills, you can use a little camera like this. This is a Fujifilm XP digital camera. It shoots in 1080p, which is excellent quality. It also takes movie if you decide you want to do a movie with that. It's a really good little camera. These are pretty affordable. One second. Turn sounds off on my phone. I apologize for that in advance, but these are good little cameras. You usually hold a 2 gig SD card in it. It works perfect. It'll hold about 600 pictures, and that's plenty. 2 gig is enough. Even 4 gigs is plenty too, but I would definitely recommend with a 2 gig chip. Now you may want to take some movies. You may want to do video like I do and start a YouTube channel. That's perfectly fine. Now the video camera I'm using to record is the Canon HD HF-R600. I believe this model is discontinued, but here on my laptop I have a photo of it. Let me back up so you can see it. See here, that is a picture of it. I know I'm not showing it to you now because it's recording the video, but this is a very simple camcorder. It has a built-in lens cap. It has a built-in lens cap. Even has the fold-out screen, and the screen is also touch screen for easy operation. It's a really good camera. I've had mine about 3 or 4 years. I've never had a problem with it. Canon is awesome. I love Canon, period. So that's just a picture of it. And let me give me a second. I'll get back to my chair in a minute. Alright, so that's on the camcorder. Now, another thing you would want to invest in is a tripod like mine. Mine is just a Target tripod. You can get these at Walmart, Target, any of those places, or even Amazon is good too for a lot of this stuff, and plus it gets delivered to your house. So I would strongly recommend using a tripod because it keeps the camera still and your photos will not be as bouncy. So that's about photography and cinematography. Now, while you're out there, you need to know when the trains will come to you as a rail fan. One of the best scanners that's out there, which I've learned to like, are one of these. Is a Railfanning UV5R. This radio is excellent. This scanner is excellent. You can listen up to 2 channels at a time. I have 2 channels. I have the NS Road, which is the road and the dispatching channel, and the CSX Road. I just turn it on.
Frequency mode.
I have it in frequency mode right now just for the 2 channels. There's even channel mode in there, which I don't know how it works, but it also you can switch from A to B, which is the top channel is A, the bottom channel is B. See, it just switched it there. See, it just switched it back. And these even have a little light in them. And it flashes as well. So, and this is the little stock antenna on top. This one has range of about 3 to 4 miles, which I think is very, very good. I bought this on Amazon for about $26, and it took me about a week to get it here because it was back ordered at the time. But Amazon is good for these. You can get these relatively cheap. These are good radios. So we've talked about photography and cinematography so far. So after you come back, you want to maybe you need to put your photos and your videos into a computer and maybe using some software. Well, one way I would recommend it, one computer is Apple. Apple is awesome. Apple is good, has a good Photos app with the new operating system High Sierra, which is excellent. They've improved the Photos library, and they've even improved iMovie, which is one of the best, I mean the best, movie-making software that has ever been invented, thanks to Steve Jobs. I personally love Apple. iMovie is very easy to use. You just drop the video in, you drop your photos in as well. You can add titles, credits, and whatever you want. There are plenty of how-to videos on that. I'm not going to go into how to do it on this video, but these are just some recommendations. But I would definitely recommend getting a MacBook Pro or even a Mac PC, which are very good. I would definitely stick with Apple products when it comes to editing and when it comes to photography as well. So let me go ahead and stand up for a minute for the next portion. You may want to buy some merchandise. We come to the other side, I'll do some explanations. So, depending on what line you're railfanning, I railfan NS and CSX. What you might want to figure out is what line you're going to railfan and determine what merchandise you want. On this side here, which would be the right side from the camera's perspective, is the Norfolk Southern. This is the Honoring Our Veterans t-shirt with the SD60E 6920. I ordered this out of a magazine, and I wear some NS merchandise when I go out railfanning on the NS. I also have an NS cap. I just have one out for the time being. This is really good for the NS because the NS crews love seeing people wear NS merchandise. That tells them that you're a true fan of NS. Now we shift to the left side. And I'm hoping the camera can see it, but this is the SCL gear that I have here on the left side. I'll turn the camera just a little bit so you can see it. So this is a CSX predecessor railroad. I have a CSX Heritage t-shirt which I showed last year. This is the newest stuff I just got for my birthday. SCL hat, SCL shirt. Now my favorite fallen flag of the CSX is Seaboard Coastline. I love the SCL. And CSX crews love people wearing CSX merchandise as well, but they also like wearing the predecessors. I love the SCL, and I'm fine with whatever merchandise you choose. But there are 2 sources where you can order this stuff. You can order from 2 places that I have ordered stuff. I'll talk about that here in a second. 2 places that I highly recommend you ordering from are Schrader's Railroad Magazine, which I happen to have a copy of right now. This was the catalog that just came in the mail from Schrader's. Schrader's is good, and so are Daylight Sales. The hat was ordered through Amazon, through Daylight Sales. But I will give you a little FYI. Depending on what item you're looking for, Daylight Sales may be a little bit pricey, depending on your budget. But Schrader's Magazine is awesome as well. I love Schrader's. Lots of good stuff in the catalog. You don't subscribe to it, I don't think, but I think you can. But I just get this in the mail. But they also have a website. You can go to Schrader's Railroad catalog. Comes right up. Even Daylight Sales, just type in Daylight Sales in Google, and the website will come right up. And you can order this stuff through the internet, and it will come to you probably the postal service for the most part because it's small stuff. So that's it on the merchandise, but if you would like to order anything I have mentioned, like shirts, hats, scanners, any of that, you're welcome to do that on the internet. You can order through Amazon, or you can order off of eBay. eBay and Amazon have their positives and negatives. I will say this, eBay is pretty good, but some of that stuff you get that's posted on there is used. Some of it you see brand new up there, which I think is great, but you have to be careful. You're ordering from different sellers, and you have to be very careful when you order something that's used. It's not recommended, because let's say it was a model train you bought used, and it craps out after 15 minutes of you running it. That's not really a good way to spend your money. I would always recommend you order something brand new if it comes off of eBay. Excuse me. Now with Amazon, you have an account. You have an account where you can redeem it with your gift cards. Where eBay, you have to go through your credit card. Amazon, it's a little bit safer because you don't have to give out your credit card information if you have one. But Amazon, you can get a card from any retail store: Food Lion, Lowe's, Target. And we'll probably name a couple of more here in just a minute. Kroger probably has a bunch of them. Home Depot has them too. So you can buy an Amazon card just about anywhere. You create an Amazon account. You redeem your card balance, whatever it's $25, $50, $20, whatever. You can put that on your account just like iTunes, and then you can buy whatever you want. So Amazon to me is a little bit safer. You can also sign up for Prime, which you can donate some money to charity. You can get your items within 2 days. If you go with the standard Amazon account like I have, it usually takes about 5 days to ship, about a week's time. So, and that's still not bad if you're not really in a push for it. But those are two good sources, but I would strongly recommend Amazon because it's a little bit safer if you don't want to give out your information. So I will go ahead and stand up and let you guys look at this stuff again. Set everything up here. So that is everything. That is everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed what I have talked about today. These are just some of the pieces of equipment that I recommend that you use. It's a really, really good little thing to do. I think it's a great hobby. You don't really have to spend a lot of money on this stuff, but the good thing with this is you only buy the stuff one time, and you buy things as needed, which I think is great. Instead of model trains, you're buying track, locomotives, rolling stock, lumber, wires, everything, and that adds up. But if you kind of space your items out, you buy one item, wait some time, and buy something else, it'll save you a lot of headaches, and plus it's a better use of your money. So that concludes part 1 of this series. In part 2, I will go over some safety guidelines about railfanning and some of the safety along the rights of way of the railroad. All right, thank you guys for watching part 1. I'm Engineer Pat, and I will see you in part 2. Hello YouTube, this is Engineer Pat 5290 coming to you with part 2 of this series. I hope you all enjoyed part 1 about the different equipment and merchandise you can buy. A few things I would like to give you as some pointers about railfanning safety. Railfanning safety is a very, very important topic to talk about. I have seen a lot of news recently about people getting struck by trains. One of the PO90, in fact, I did not report this in our announcement video, that PO90 struck and killed 2 teenagers on the CSXA line near Richmond. It was really, really sad. One of them, I believe, I know was 18. I forgot how old the other one was, but 2 lives were lost because they were walking on the railroad tracks. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. Railfanning can be fun, but it can also be dangerous at the same time. Here are a few rules that we should all follow. Number 1, never go railfanning alone. Go with an adult or a few friends. And go somewhere where you know you can get help if a problem happens. Tell people where you're going and what time you will return. This is really important because when you're out for long periods of time and someone doesn't hear from you, they may think something is wrong. So always have your cell phone with you in case you need to call somebody to come get you, or 911 if there is a problem. If you notice other trespassing activity like walking on railroad tracks or something doesn't look right around the area, leave. Because if somebody does some of the unexpected, and everybody knows what I'm talking about, you're better off to go off somewhere where you know is safe, or it's better to go somewhere safe rather than staying somewhere where your life may be in jeopardy. So I have learned to realize that as I have grown up, and I take this lesson very seriously. Also, if you see some activity go on railroad property, like if they're vandalizing a building, anything like that, call the railroad immediately. On their web pages, they have emergency contact information. They have emergency lines that will direct you to the proper department. If you call that number, they'll send a railroad police official out there, or you can simply call 911. But if you want to, as another good tip, put the 24-hour emergency numbers in your cell phone. I have Norfolk Southern's in mine because I have reported rough crossings and malfunctioning crossings and malfunctioning signals, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. Now, there's no roughhousing on railroad property. There's no playing on the tracks. There's no walking on tracks. You're not supposed to do that because it's a dangerous place. Because trains may come up and you walking around, you don't hear the train, it may result in loss of life. So when you are filming or photographing trains, please stay a safe distance back from the railroad tracks. Because in case something flies up and hits you, you will not be hurt as bad if you are like maybe 2 feet from the train. The law is 5 feet from the nearest rail. And usually for me, I'm about 10 feet back. Just a double protection. That's another thing. Let me think here. If you're going to rail fan at night, I would strongly recommend you wear a high visibility vest. Make sure it's yellow because yellow is a very reflective color. Especially at night in case the headlight from the locomotive sees you, that yellow reflection will come off of your vest and the engineer and the conductor will know that you're there. So it is a safety precaution over there. To report a malfunctioning signal or a crossing, a malfunctioning train signal or a highway grade crossing, there will become a time while you're rail fan or even on the road that a railroad crossing may activate even though a train may not be present. This is called a false activation. What you do is, what I've always done, is call the railroad. Call the 800 emergency number. Give them the exact information that's appeared on the sign underneath the crossbuck. If something happens and you're on the road and you just happen to pass it, you can give them a call still, but be aware of your surroundings. Know the intersection where that cross is located. They'll be able to track it and you can tell them what's wrong and they'll send a signal maintainer out there. So there are 2 ways you can do that. If there's a malfunctioning train signal, I have done this plenty of times. Give them the nearest crossing, they'll look it up in their computer, then they can send a signal maintainer, get on his truck on the main track, and go down and fix the signal, it'll all be done. There are 2 ways that you can do it. Now if it's a rough crossing, I have done this recently too, with CSX and NS. What you do is, take a picture of the little information sign. When you call, pull up the photo. Then you can put them on speakerphone and you can read them the information on that photo. They can still track it, tell them what's wrong with the crossing. Let's say the wood ties that surround the rail are starting to cave in. They need to come up. You can explain that. And then they'll process the request and send it off to the track department, which is another good thing too. If you see something's not right, you tell somebody. So although malfunctions are rare, technology is always expected to malfunction at any time. You just have to be ready. But there are just a few safety pointers. I would strongly recommend going with the group as mentioned before. With going with the group, you feel safer, but you also have a lot more fun too. I hang out with the group all the time on Thursdays. It's great because you get to talk to a lot of guys who have interest in the railroads, and you also get to talk about different things as well. Different railroads from the past, different locomotives, history of stuff. It's so neat to hang out with the group, and plus, if you want to, like I do, we go out to dinner. Find a place that's close to the railroad tracks, and go out and have a nice dinner and go back and watch more trains. Hey, food tops everything off, guys. Food taps off everything, especially if it's dessert. But I would strongly recommend you doing that as well. That's just a few safety and just a few pointers. Now, if you know the area is rough, here's what you do. You stay as a group, but if one person leaves, you all leave. Why is that? Everybody is accounted for, number one. Number two, you go in somewhere where it's safe. And number three, everybody still has a good time while everybody is still together. Because if you're out there by yourself, you may be a target. So that's a little FYI point there for that reason. In conclusion, have lots of fun. But just be aware of your surroundings. If you see something that's not right in general, I mean, people trespassing railroad property. If you see something that's not wrong with railroad property, call the railroad police. If you see something that's not right outside of railroad property, well, public property, call 911. If someone gets hurt out there, call 911. It takes one phone call to solve a situation. And when you call a situation in, remain calm and be cooperative. So, anyway, that is all the tips I have for you in this video. I understand some of you are beginners. That's why I'm doing this video. Even for you guys who have been in the hobby a long time. It may be a refresher course because you may learn these skills and you may pass these along to someone else who may be interested in the hobby. So, if you guys have any other further questions, please leave them in the description box. I'd love to hear comments from you all. If you'd like to ask me about a specific piece of equipment like I talked about today, leave a comment in the description box. State a question, and I will do my very best to reply to your comments. I will do anything I can to get you a very good answer. So anyway, that concludes this two-part series. I'm Engineer Pat, and I hope you all learned something from this video. And one more thought. It takes 1.5 miles to stop a train that's going 55 miles an hour. And walking on railroad tracks is against the law. So be safe, ride the trains, think safety, make good decisions, and take care of each other. And don't walk on railroad tracks. Thank you.